football coverage. Powered by Davis Law Firm.
The franchise tag window opened up for NFL teams today, and it runs through March the 7th. This gives the Dallas Cowboys a 2-week window to tag either running back Tony Pollard or tight end Dalton Schultz again. If they tag Schultz for a second year in a row, then the value is 120% of the prior season, which will cost the boys about $13.1 million. And that's a lot. He's made it clear he wants a long-term deal, and with younger tight ends on the squad, it seems unlikely they will tag Dalton again. So Tony Pollard is most likely the recipient of the franchise tag. He's young, explosive, and is an important piece to bring back. The tag value for running backs this season is $10.091 million, which is a lot to give to Pollard after he suffered a broken fibula in the playoff loss to the 49ers. But his 2023 season does not appear to be in jeopardy. After learning that Red McCombs passed away Sunday at the age of 95, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver released a statement yesterday saying in part, quote, Red McCombs brought the Spurs to San Antonio and was a driving force in creating the modern NBA, end quote. If not for Red taking a risk, the Spurs wouldn't be celebrating their 50th NBA season in San Antonio. The Spurs tipped off their current season on October 19th, Red's 95th birthday. Before that game, Pop was asked if Red was a hands-on owner.
He was passionate about everything that he did, and he had high standards. He demanded a lot, but he was fair, had a great sense of humor. Even to this day, you can still see the little sly smirk on his face here and there because he loved a good joke. He loved people. And he let you know that he was in charge. There's no doubt about that.
David Robinson tweeted, R.I.P. Red McCombs. He was a legendary figure in San Antonio and had a huge impact in my life. We will miss you. Houston Astros third baseman Alex Bregman reported to spring training in West Palm Beach, Florida yesterday. He's 28 years old and entering his 8th big league season, all with the Astros. Houston is trying to repeat as World Series champs for the first time since the Yankees won 3 straight World Series titles from 1998 to 2000. Bregman is looking forward to the challenge and knows there's a lot of work to be done.
We're going to try and accomplish something that hasn't been done in a long time, but with that being said, the season doesn't start in the postseason. There's a lot of work that has to go into getting back to where we want to go. But overall, in general, just spring training is an exciting time.
Astros GM Dana Brown wants Jose Altuve and Bregman to finish their careers with the Astros, and both are signed through the 2024 season. Congratulations to Texas Longhorns softball player Leanne Good, who set a program record 9-game hitting streak to begin a freshman season. She broke the mark with a leadoff double in the 3rd inning Saturday. The O'Connor High School great has started all 10 games for the Horns this season and was leading the team in batting average entering Sunday's game with Incarnate Word. Against the Cardinals, she went 2 for 3 in the Longhorns' 8-0 win, extending her freshman record hitting streak to start a season of 10 straight games while pushing her average to .576. which leads the Longhorns.
She's more than good.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we always see it.
I know.
See it every time.
Yep, we sure do.
Miles away.
Our KSAT Q&A is up next.
We have seen similar incidents in our own community, street racing incidents, certainly over the weekend. What happened in downtown Austin, where street racers basically took over a major intersections and then didn't disperse when police showed up. It is a concern, obviously, in the city of Austin. Is it also a concern in the city of San Antonio? Mayor Ron Nirenberg joins us now live. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Your reaction when you saw that video and what has happened since? Have you had a conversation with the police chief about what happened in Austin?
Yes, I have had a conversation with the chief specifically about the scenes that played out on those social media videos over the weekend in Austin. It's a very disturbing scene. You see a crowd overtake a police cruiser and really just in sort of a lawless scene out of a movie almost. So we talked about it, and obviously street racing is a concern in any community, and we've had our challenges with street racing here in San Antonio. A lot of the work in fighting back against these illegal street racing rings happens before the events actually take place. A lot of intelligence work, information gathering, making sure that before the street racers show up, there's already police and security in the area and able to disperse a crowd really before it gets going. In the event that there is a crowd of some size that's gathered, you want to make sure that there is a proper response contingent. Everything from, what you saw in terms of the normal police patrols, but also specialized units, in some cases SWAT. In the cases of street racing rings being broken up in San Antonio, there are lots of arrests made, weapons seized, and so we don't take this lightly. It is a danger to the public. It's a danger to the police officers themselves. So we want to make sure that they have proper support when they go into a scene like that. And that begins really before it even starts to assemble.
We haven't seen something quite to that degree like what played out in Austin, but just a couple of weeks ago, there was a takeover of I-10 that shut down traffic in both directions. We've seen these takeovers where people are doing dangerous stunts in parking lots and things like that. I know in covering this over the last year or so, the City Council looked at some potential policy changes that could help crack down on this, because a lot of it's spread through social media and organized that way. Do you think there is anything from a policy perspective that the council can do to help address this?
I asked the chief that the other night in terms of, are there any gaps? Are there any resources or policies that would better aid our defense of situations like that and prevention of these kinds of scenes? Also, are there is there anything that we're doing to get in the way of proper police response and prevention of scenes like this? And he said they have the tools necessary. It's really about, though, intelligence and making sure intelligence and information gathering, making sure that we have, the proper information available so that before these crowds assemble, there are police officers in the vicinity on site to make sure that they can stop it before it starts. In the event, though, that there are these assemblies, gangs assembled that are doing these street racing scenes, taking over roadways, we want to make sure that we send the proper response contingent, not just a couple of cruisers, but enough strength of force to make sure that we can quell a crowd like that and prevent violence from happening, make the proper arrests, and apprehend the actors as well as any weapons that they might have on them.
Mr. Mayor, was that also part of your conversation with the police chief? Because that's what's perhaps the most alarming to me, is just the lack of respect for authority and then basically attacking police that were on the scene. The fact that when you show up to these things, you can't show up with just one cruiser and a bus, which is what, obviously we haven't seen the entire video, but that's what it looked like happened in Austin.
Yeah. Right. And so it's hard to draw any conclusions specifically off of just one social media clip or a couple of social media clips. We don't know really what happened before that and what happened after that. And I'd ask that you talk to the chief directly about that, should we get that information. But, again, the kind of lawlessness that plays out in these scenes is disturbing. We want to make sure that we're providing our police department the proper resources to police this kind of activity. And to prevent a danger from the public, and thereby also ensuring that the community knows that it's being protected, that the police department has the available resources necessary to quell these kinds of scenes before they begin.
Mayor, before we let you go, I want to switch gears a little bit. You did something over the weekend that a lot of people in San Antonio wish they got to do. You met The Rock at the Brahmas game. So a huge turnout for the inaugural game of that team, of this league here in San Antonio. Your impressions of the night?
Well, I told Coach Traylor, who was there at halftime, that there was only one person in the entire city that was more popular at the moment than Coach Traylor, and that was The Rock. And I think that's actually true. It was great. San Antonio shows up, they show out. We're a football city. We're a sports city. We get behind our home team. The XFL Brahmas here in San Antonio are they're a new phenomenon, and people really didn't know what to make of the XFL. They have some really exciting rule changes, which unfortunately put us on the short end of the stick the other day. But, it is our home team, and it is a franchise that we can get behind. And San Antonio loves football. So it was great to see us knock the socks off of the other cities in terms of home field attendance. I think that, the XFL and the sports world knows that San Antonio is the marquee city. We're only going to continue to grow in that profile. And so for the announcement to happen by Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia, who are the owners of this league, that we're going to host the championship game, it's gratifying to see them recognize that and for us to celebrate San Antonio on a national stage.
Absolutely. And I was watching on an airplane on the way back to town, and I loved hearing the announcers on ABC, on national television, basically talking about how great the crowd was in San Antonio. Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, always appreciate your time.
You too. Stay safe, y'all. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
President Joe Biden delivering a rallying cry for Ukraine in the neighboring country of Poland, declaring that Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. It's a moment that solidifies NATO's support for Ukraine's survival as this Friday marks the first anniversary of Russia's invasion. Mike Valerio tells us what Russia is doing as the result of the president's speech.
There should be no doubt. Our support for Ukraine will not waver. NATO will not be divided, and we will not tire.
President Joe Biden delivering a defiant declaration at the Royal Castle in Warsaw, a promise of resilience that neighboring Ukraine will not fall.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Never.
The president called for steadiness of purpose, days before the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
President Putin ordered his tanks to roll into Ukraine. He thought we would roll over. He was wrong.
Biden last spoke from the storied setting in March of 2022, when the resolve of Ukraine and the strengthening of the NATO alliance were only beginning to emerge. The resolve underscored by President Biden's historic trip to Kyiv, standing side by side with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday. While in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin framed the contours of the conflict as an existential battle with the West.
The elite of the West do not conceal their ambitions, which is to strategically defeat Russia, finish us off once and for all.
Putin announcing Russia is suspending its participation in the New START Treaty, the last major nuclear arms agreement between the U.S. and Russia. Back in Poland, the president focused on future generations and what remains at stake.
Freedom, the enemy of the tyrant, and the hope of the brave and the truth of the ages. Freedom.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
All right, apparently it's time to indulge. Fat Tuesday is here, also known as Mardi Gras, which actually is French for Fat Tuesday. It's the last day to eat and drink as you'd like before Ash Wednesday, which starts the Lenten season, a time of reflection for Christians.
The actual roots of Mardi Gras date back thousands of years. The ancient Romans had similar celebrations around the same time to honor some of their deities, like Bacchus, the god of wine and revelry. These days, Fat Tuesday in the U.S., it's closely related to all of this. Parties in New Orleans with parades, cake, and yes, lots of beads.
And I believe in New Orleans, this is the first time it's like no COVID restrictions. It's all back to
the photos?
Normal, and I'm sure people are living it up.
So warm of people on Bourbon Street.
You know, something tells me Caskey would love Mardi Gras.
I've never been. I need to go. I should.
I can see you there.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd make it back.
Shooting beads out of your Canyon de Cascaron. I mean, you know.
See you up on a balcony.
Oh my gosh, this would be awesome. I'm going to stick to Fiesta for now. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's for the betterment of the people.
And probably safer confetti than
people.
beads. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll stick to the soft stuff falling from the sky. Oh boy, it's going to warm up a bit. Tomorrow's going to be even warmer than today. Today we had the high of 85. Tomorrow we'll tack on a few more degrees. Windy for just part of the day, a chunk of the day tomorrow, and then the nuisance dampness is going to be back into the picture. But let's start with one of the noticeable changes tomorrow. So first of all, we've got some dew points climbing into the 60s, and it's going to be sticky and muggy out there this evening, increasing humidity. Taking a look at our futurecast, notice by midnight, those dew points are well into the 60s for all of us. And that's going to be the case when we start the day tomorrow. For the morning rush hour, still humid with dew points in the 60s, and that'll probably lead to some morning fog. But then the dry line, the West Texas dry line, moves into town around 9 a.m., and that's going to sweep away the humidity and all that mugginess, and it's going to drop our dew points down into the 20s. And not just will you notice that change in that drier air, but also it's going to be that warm, strong westerly wind. I think some gusts up to about 35 miles per hour, but mainly between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's kind of specific tomorrow, a unique situation where it's just going to be that narrow window where we'll have those gusty winds 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then look at 7 o'clock, maybe some gusts up to 7 miles per hour. That shows you how quickly that wind will be diminishing tomorrow afternoon. Of course, it's the dry westerly wind and relative humidity 15%, even less west of town. So that gives us the increased fire risk, not for the weather causing a fire, but if there is some burning going on, then the fire will spread rapidly, especially west of town. It's one of those situations with our dry conditions and those gusty winds out of the west. All right, let's talk weather pattern. We still have this little dip in the upper level flow near Tucson. That's the upper disturbance we've been talking about for a few days. It's going to pass just to the north of us and pretty quickly throw some energy through West Texas and North Texas. But I think that moisture is going to stay out of our neighborhood. Unfortunately, we're talking San Angelo, Abilene, Dallas area, Wichita Falls, even stretching down into Waco. They could see some of those showers, but around here, mainly just a little bit of that morning fog. Otherwise, I mean, widespread snow in the west. The blue on this map indicates the snow and even stretching all the way across the northern tier of the nation. It's an active pattern. Unfortunately, we can't get in on that action. You look at our rain chances, 20%, and that's maybe a stray sprinkle, but the real rain is unlikely. We're looking at daily drizzle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that nuisance dampness. You're going to hear me saying that a lot in the days ahead because that's what it'll be. I mean, we're talking, the wet ground in the morning, your vehicle's wet, some wet roadways and sidewalks, but nothing to show for it. Maybe a 1/10 of an inch, 0.15 of an inch spread out from Friday all the way through Sunday. So that nuisance moisture back into place by the end of the week and for the weekend. Look at our readings now. Del Rio at 91 along with Cotulla, 84 here in town, Pleasanton 83. Tomorrow we start the day in the lower 60s at 63. By noon we're sunny and 78 and gusty, then a high temperature of 88 degrees by about 4 p.m. But that means, Nixon Smiley about 90. Pleasanton 91, Uvalde 90 degrees, and I think into the 90s as you get along the Rio Grande. Temperatures falling off a bit then, 79 Thursday, Friday we'll be back near 70, but that's going to be the coolest day of the next 7.
Thank you, Adam.
We'll be right back. During this year's Black History Month and every month after that, you can visit Black-owned businesses to show your support for our community. This week is Black Restaurant Week, where people are encouraged to visit restaurants, food trucks, some people call them eateries, in celebration of their contributions.
Our Max Massey visits some of these businesses and shows us how these restaurants are working with the San Antonio Food Bank to help out families all across the city.
We needed something healthy in the area.
Lem found a need in our area, and then he opened up his restaurant, Roots Salad Kitchen.
Want to see it?
Eat good, look good, feel good.
We came up with that motto, that slogan. I think it works perfect for what we have here.
Roots Salad Kitchen is one of the many local spots participating in next week's Black Restaurant Week.
The restaurant industry is hard. There's nothing easy about it. So to highlight what we're doing, especially in the Black community during Black History Month, I think is great. It gives us a little boost that we need.
And take a look at this. This is the Southwest Jerk Salad. It's the most popular item on the menu here. And here's the best part. For every salad sold, a portion goes to the San Antonio Food Bank.
For every item, special item, Black Restaurant Week special, $1 will be donated to the San Antonio Food Bank. Combine that with the Tim Duncan Foundation, who is able to donate $2. And since our food bank math, $1 equals 7 meals, 21 meals, our favorite Tim Duncan's number, will be donated to the food bank.
And right now, the San Antonio Food Bank is working to help thousands and thousands of families every week.
We're serving 100,000 folks each week and serving 29 counties. So the need is there. It's great. And while we'd love to see it go down, and we're working to make sure we shorten the line, we're having to feed the line too in the process.
As for Lem and Root Salad Kitchen, there are big plans on the horizon.
We got a lot of big things coming up, some expansion coming up. I can't say right now exactly what it is just yet.
Max Massey, KSAT12 News.
Tomorrow, upper 80s, very spring-like on your Ash Wednesday, and windy from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I know that's unique, but it's a unique dry line that's moving through. And then by Thursday, we're back down closer to 80, then near 70 on Friday. But that's also especially because of the extra clouds. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that morning drizzle and nuisance dampness returns.
Adam's already annoyed.
Yeah, you can tell.
Thanks for watching the news at 6.
See you on the Night Beat at 10.